All right, so our scripture verse comes from 1 Samuel 17:40. Then he took his staff in his hand, chose 5 smooth stones from the stream, put them in the pouch of his shepherd's bag, and with his sling in his hand approached the Philistine. So they're talking about David here in this passage. At the end of class, we'll go through the entirety of that devotional, but the main purpose of the devotional is about being intentional. So in that scenario, David intentionally picked up those 5 smooth stones before he went to battle the Philistine. And it's going to circle back to your intentionality when it comes to fitness in the same way. I won't get into it too much right now, but that's kind of where the devotional will go. We'll do that during the stretch. And if it goes a little bit long, it'll go into the just a little meditative time at the end. Without further ado, I'll remind you, equipment needed, mini band, mini ball, and weights. And then, of course, I always have a mat just available on the floor, especially today. We'll be doing a lot of stuff from the ground. So you'll want a mat spread out unless you're on carpet or something soft. But without further ado, we will get started with our warm-up. All right, step, touch it out. Excellent. All right, kick your butt. Kind of stepping side to side, but you're kicking your butt as you step. All right, speed it up. I want you to try and keep your legs wide, so try not to bring them in narrow and keep them wide. It's going to feel a little awkward because no one runs like this, right? Unless you're Phoebe on Friends. She runs like that through the park. But that's okay. Just go with it. Now you can come a little bit more narrow. All right, we're going to tuck the knee in, give it a little double pulse. Double pulse. Whew. Excellent. All right, we're going to go into a jumping jack. Remember, you can always just tap. We're going to start off here. And then to warm up those inner thighs a little bit today, we're going to cross. Maybe you want to take the arms in front just to help you remember to crisscross. I just want to warm up those inner thighs. This is why we're crisscrossing. If you need low impact though, you're still crisscrossing. You're just not jumping. All right, hold it here. We're gonna squat it up. Down and up. Down and up. If I'm going too fast, too slow, you can always pick your own pace. Whew. I got a breath already. We just started. We're in the warm-up. So if you're out of breath too, you're in good company, I guess. All right. We're going to take knees up, one at a time. Nice and slow to start. This will also be your modification. If jumping isn't in your wheelhouse today. All right, if you can, speed it up. We won't be here long, so really get those knees up high. All right, find a wall. We're gonna swing our legs open and close, or forward and backward rather. Words are hard sometimes. Whew. Try and stand up nice and tall as you swing that leg. Go ahead and switch. Whew. A little too close to the wall behind me. It's never a good deal when you start kicking stuff you don't mean to kick. Whew. Great job. Remember, keep those shoulders back even when you're kicking here. And even though we're in that warm-up, I still want you to engage that core. Back to that step touch. All right. Step touch it till you're facing. Well, you don't have to turn, I do. We're gonna take a long stride, drop the knee down, lunge it out. Got 3 more. Go ahead, switch those legs. Same thing, other side. Got 5 here. All right, we're to kick, kick. So keep that leg straight like you're kicking something out of your yard. Woo! All right, kick your butt again. Remember, you can always be here. All right, we're gonna take it into that squat one more time. Take those feet hip distance apart. Shoot those hips back. Drop it down. We're gonna finish off doing a couple squats, and then we're gonna go into our first move. All right, go ahead, grab a band. Our first move, let me just show it real quick before I start the timer. Get that band around the ankles. You're gonna lean back. You can use your hands to help you balance, but I want you to engage that core, so you kind of lean back into those sits bones, lift your legs up, and you're just gonna open and close those legs. That's it. Set, 40 seconds, go. There we go. Whew. Try walking around with that stuff. It's goofy. And you don't have to go like crazy wide. Your legs don't need to be crazy high. You can drop your feet down in between, or you can focus on keeping those legs up the entirety of the time. I'm actually having some issues with my quadricep right now, so I'm going to switch to a lighter band just to not aggravate it too much. Quick rest. All right. The next one is our isometric hold. So you're going to hold it here. So with that band as wide, at least as wide as shoulder distance, if not a little bit wider, hold it here. So you want to feel that tension. So if having your legs real narrow, there's not enough tension in that band, take them a little bit wider until there's tension. You should feel this on your outer thighs. You'll feel this in your quadriceps and that hip flexor as well. That's what's holding those legs up, is that quadricep hip flexor. Rest. All right, for this last one, you're gonna pulse. So those legs are gonna come open and shut. They don't come all the way shut though. I'm gonna face you for this one. You can see the bottoms of my shoes. I'm gonna turn to the side, keep going. Woo! It's burning. Oh yeah. Keep going though. I know we're starting off strong. Halfway point. Woo! Keep going. Microphone is leaning on it. Hang in there. Keep pulsing. Woo! I know you're feeling this in your core too. Rest. Woo! All right. The band is going to come up above your knees. So definitely not on your knees, above them. You're going to come into a hip bridge like so, but then you're also going to come up onto your tippy toes. And from here, You're gonna open and close. Your legs are about hip distance apart. But make sure you're up on your tippy toes. 2, 1, bring it up. Open and close those legs. Hallelujah. Normally, I do all the band work at the end, but I flipped it on its tail today. We're doing all the band work first, doing all the weights last. Woo. 2, 1, and rest. All right, we're gonna do that one more time. If you wanted to make this even harder, maybe you don't have a very hard bands, you can always throw some weight on your hips. Here we go. Remember, you're up on your tippy toes. Open it wide and hold. Squeeze that glute. Keep your hips off the mat. Up on those tippy toes. Whew. Keeping that bridge intact. You could have a weight right here if you just wanted a little bit more resistance on your hips. But otherwise, you're doing great right here. Taking those legs wide, so they're wider than hip distance right now. So your hips are here, and you're a little wider. Go ahead and rest. Whew. Catch your breath. We're gonna do that same thing, but just like usual, we're gonna pulse it. So this is gonna be the most challenging round because you're gonna be pulsing. Here we go, up on those tippy toes, pulse. So you should really be feeling this in those outer thighs, but also in that glute right now. Keep going here. Speed it up a little bit. Maybe you slow it down a little bit. Try and power through it a little bit harder for this last few seconds. 2, 1, and rest. All right, next one. The band is gonna go above the knee, just like it was. You're gonna come onto all fours, and you're gonna open the hip, like so. If you wanna add on to that still, you could always just have a weight here and lift up that L shape without a band at all. All right, here we go. Lift and release. I'm gonna turn to the back so you can see it from that angle. Depending on how tight and heavy a band you have will depend on the difficulty and your range of motion too. If you have a really loose band, your leg might be lifting up, to more of a 90-degree angle. But if you have a band like I'm using that's pretty heavy, this might be as high as you can go. Rest. All right, round 2, we're gonna bring that leg up and we're gonna hold it there. So get ready. Don't let it drop. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Try and flex that foot. Keep that leg up in the air for that fire hydrant. Whew. We all know why they call it that, right? If you've ever taken a dog for a walk, you know why they call this the fire hydrant. Whew. It is burning so much already, but we can do this. Power through. Yell out if you need to, but keep going. Don't quit on me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and rest. Maybe sit it back for a few seconds, because we're going to pulse it next. And you can always switch out your bands if you find the one you're using is too hard or too easy. Here we go. So lift it up as high as you can. As you can see, with the band I'm using, this is about as high as my leg will go. But find whatever that height is, hold it there, and then pulse it up and down, about 1 inch up, 1 inch down. Whew. I don't know about you, but it's getting so hard that I'm closing my eyes. I don't know why that happens, but when it gets real hard and you notice my eyes closing, whew, rest. Whew. Well, that was rough, but I hate to break it to you, we got 2 sides, which means we got to do it all again on that other leg. So you got about 20 seconds here to maybe grab a drink before we do that other side. I don't know. I think I like doing these at the end better than the beginning, but I thought for today we'd try something different. All right, tabletop position, up and down, other leg. Woo! Yes! Is this leg harder or what, right? Because that standing leg, or kneeling leg I should say, was still working. Even though it was just sitting there, right? The looks are deceiving on that one. Hey, and if this bothers your knees, even with your mat, you can throw a pillow, balled up towel, rest underneath your knees if you ever need it. Always listen to your body and what feels right and wrong. All right, we got isometric hold next. Here we go. Woo! Get in your doggy hold. And you'll feel the muscles in that kneeling glute holding you up. I want you to check in with your core right now. Draw that belly button in and make sure that it's braced nice and tight. Keep that leg up. I don't know who needs to hear this, but lift that leg up a little bit higher. It might have dropped a little bit. Lift it back up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew. All right. We got pulses next. You can always sit it back in between if you just want to give those legs a little rest. Get ready. Come back into that tabletop. Here we go. Excellent. If you can hear the beat, I don't know how well it comes through the microphone, but if you can hear the beat, I want you to pulse into the beat. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, just like that. You're doing awesome. Come on. So feeling good yet? I know you're loving it. I can just tell. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yes. 2, 1. Rest. Woo. All right, if you're still able to move your legs, I really hope you are. Whew. All right, the next one, you're going to bring the band down around your ankles. You're going to come still in that tabletop position, though. You're going to straighten one leg. So one knee is bent, one leg is straight, and you're going to lift it up and down. I don't know why I'm doing so many right before we do them. All right, here we go. Now, if you get to a point where you're like, Sarah, I can barely move my leg anymore. We've done so much with this band. You can always drop to a lighter band or ditch the band altogether. For sure, this move, you'll feel it even without the band. Try and lift that leg up as high as you can. As you can see, mine doesn't go crazy high. Rest. But maybe if you're not using a band, yours can go up higher. Whew. All right, get set up. We are gonna isometrically hold that one. So make sure there's resistance when you lift it up. I want you to point your toe on this one. So it was the last move. I had you flex your foot. I want you to point your toe this time. And we're doing a lot on our knees. So if you need to, if you've got a little towel nearby, you can always just kind of bunch it up. Set your knee on top of the towel. And then you've got a little cushion there to kind of protect that knee joint from the hardness of the floor. Even with a mat, it can be a lot, especially with this many moves. Rest. Is it just me, or like is this way harder than when we just do like lunges and squats and deadlifts? All right, get ready. Pulses. And the crazy part is it feels way harder, but I am way less sweaty. Probably because we're actually activating smaller muscles here. Yes, we're working our glute, but we're really targeting those smaller parts of the glute, the medius and the minimus, those ones that are so important for helping protect your knees. So they have value. Rest. Woo-hoo-hoo. Catch your breath. See if you can shake your tail feather a little bit. Get that blood flowing back in because we're going to do the other side. All right. Got a few more seconds here if you need to continue toweling off or grabbing a drink of water. So get yourself ready and set back up on all fours. Remember, you can always ball up that towel. Other leg. Here we go. Lift it up and down. Keep it going for me here. We're getting close to the end with the bands. So if you have been cursing the creation of exercise bands, just know your torture is ending soon. Rest. Your workout is not close to over, but the part with bands is getting close to over. All right, isometric hold is next. Here we go. Hold it up. It could be worse though. We could be doing burpees for like an hour. So when you gauge it on that perspective, this is pretty nice, right? I mean, if I gave you the choice between this and a burpee, what would you pick? Would you pick this? I think that I would. But hey, you do you. If you'd rather do burpees right now, please don't actually. I want you to stay equal on both sides. And if you started doing burpees right now, one leg would be getting more work than the other. Rest. Whew. I know everyone watching this right now is probably like, yeah, that was not my instinct to jump up and start doing burpees, Sarah. But you never know. All right, we got pulses. Pulse it out. I want you to tell yourself, I will keep my leg up. I will pulse
With all the power I have within me, I will make it through this movement 100% to the finish line. I can and I will. Sometimes, even if you don't fully believe those words, if you tell yourself that, there is power there. Rest. All right, this is the last move with the band, at least on the ground. So for this next one, you're gonna come into a reverse plank. That band is gonna come below the knee. So it's not on the ankle, but it's not above the knee, and it's definitely not on the knee. So a little bit higher than the ankle, so it's on your calf. You're gonna come into a reverse plank, and you're gonna lift and lift. Now, if that gets to be too much, you can always keep going. You can always come down to the ground, drop your butt down, and just lift up the legs without, my band keeps moving on me, without being up on your wrists. You will get more work in those hamstrings if you're able to stay up. Rest. All right, for round 2, we're gonna lift the leg up, hold it for 3 seconds, drop it down, lift the next leg, hold for 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, switch. 3, 2, 1, switch. Now you can count for yourself. If you want to hold it up even longer than 3 seconds, you sure can. If your band is like mine and keeps moving up, you can always move it back down. If you don't want to count, you can always just follow me and switch legs when I switch legs.
3, 2, 1.
Rest. Whew. All right. Next one is going to be pulses. So instead of holding it up for 3, you'll pulse 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. All right, push it up. So if you can, those hips are up off the mat in a reverse plank. If you can't swing that, you drop your hips down and just focus on lifting the legs. Either one is fine. Whew. We're almost there. I know you feel your hamstrings. They're probably screaming at you.
3, 2, 1.
And rest. All right, go ahead. Take the band off of you for now. It will come back for one more move, but you won't be on the ground for the rest of the workout. Whew. For the next move, we're gonna grab heavy weights. What is heavy to you is gonna look different than maybe somebody else. Find what's heavy for you. We've got deadlifts. Feet are gonna be hip distance apart, shoulders up, back and down. You're just gonna hinge forward from the hip and then stand it straight up. Here we go. I'm gonna turn to the side. So you don't wanna lock out those knees, but they're not super bent either. So yes, there's a slight little micro bend, but for the most part, they're straight because we're trying to engage that posterior chain, so the back side of the body. And you can lift pretty heavy on this part. Keep going.
3, 2, 1.
And rest. You can set your weights down for a second. Maybe shake out your hands if those weights were heavy. We're gonna do that all again. This time though, I just ask that you slow it down a little bit. Here we go.
Isometric.
So nice and slow. Up and down. So you can match my pace, or you can even go a little bit slower if you feel like it. Make sure here those shoulders stay back. So you don't want to end up rounding forward at all. Keep going. We're almost there. You're gonna feel this. Rest. To the back side of the body. You'll feel a little bit in your hamstrings, your glutes, and your back. Works all those areas all at once. Get ready. Pick your tempo. If you want to go down slow, come up quick. Maybe you want to go down quick, come up slow. Whatever tempo. It's exercise your choice. Just make sure you're being careful with this one. Don't go down lower than your knees if you're new to this. You want to make sure you're not going down too low and then tweaking your back.
3, 2, 1.
And rest. Whew. All right. You can set your weights off to the side. Grab your ball. So the ball is going to go between your thighs. You're going to squeeze it tight. Come down into a squat. And then you're just going to squeeze the ball with your inner thigh. I want you to think of it as like you're trying to pop that ball with your thighs. All right, here we go. Squat it down. Squeeze those inner thighs together. Depending on what you're using, that'll vary what your stance looks like. If you have like a giant ball, your stance might be wider than mine to accommodate the size of the ball. That's why if you have one of these balls, that's ideal. But hey, there's no requirement here. You don't have to have any set of equipment to be successful here. You can make work with whatever you've got. Rest. All right, for the second one, I'm gonna do the same thing. But check out what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come onto my tippy toes.
1. Isometric.
So I'm still squeezing my inner thighs. I'm still down low in a squat. But this time, my heels are up off the ground. Keep going here. I know your thighs are burning. Sorry, throat was getting so dry. Sink it down a little deeper. Keep those heels lifted if you can. If you need to grab a chair or a wall, feel free to do that. And rest. Whew. Okay, for the last round, we're gonna stay up on those tippy toes, but we're gonna squeeze for 3 seconds and then release. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, release. 3, 2, 1, release. Go. 3, 2, 1, release. 3, 2, 1. Keep going like that. Same pace. Those heels are still off the ground. If you're worried about your balance, go ahead. Grab a chair, grab a wall. Take balance out of the equation. We're working our legs a little differently though by coming up onto our tippy toes.
3, 2, 1.
Rest. Woo-hoo. Shake it out. All right. Whew. All right, we're going to grab that band again. It's going to go around your ankles. If you want to use weights, you can also grab weights for this part. There is a little bit of balance, so if you're worried about your balance, you can sure go ahead and find a chair. We're going to step it out, lunge it out, so you're in a side lunge. You'll come up, side lift. So side lunge, side lift, side lunge, side lift. So lunge it down, lift it up. If you want in between, you can step. If that's something you want to do. Or stay here with me, just keeping that band so those legs are wide, and rest. Whew. All right. For the next one, you're going to sink it down in that side lunge. You're going to count to 5 and then lift it up for 5. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift it up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to that lunge. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift it up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lunge it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift it up. 5. I'm going to fall over. 4, 3, 2, 1. End it here in that lunge. And rest. Give your booty a little shake here. All right. For this last one, pulse for 3. If you want to do 5 still, you can do 5, but I'm going to do 3. And then lift for 3. So 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Okay, like as you can see, my leg is barely lifting at this point. Woo! All right, I'm going to drop my weights before I injure myself. If your muscles get fatigued, your balance will be affected. It doesn't mean you're weak. It just means your balance was affected. Rest. Whew. As you can see, I literally fell into my door. That's okay. It doesn't make you less than. It doesn't disqualify you. It just means your muscles were like, yo, what's up? We've been working pretty hard. We're going to do the other side, so leave your banded ankles. Whew. Now again, you know from that leg kind of where your balance is today. So if you need to, go ahead, grab a chair. Same thing, other side. Lunge it out, lift it up. Side lunge, side lift. And you can take your time and get reset up each time. In fact, I encourage it. I'd rather you go slower and get the movement right than go fast and get a bunch in within proper form. So remember with this side lunge, you're sending those hips back.
3, 2, 1.
And rest. Whew. I'm getting out of breath already. So remember, this one's going to be a little bit more balanced focus. So I'm going to turn to the side a little bit.
Isometric.
So hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift it up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift it up. You can keep counting. If you want to stick with me, just follow along with my movements. If you want to count to a different tempo, go for it.
3, 2, 1.
And rest. Now I turned so that way, if/when I fall, there's a wall right there to catch me. You know how your balance is doing. Plan accordingly. Here we go. Pulse for 3. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Keep going. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2. You could always even lose the band here. Do this whole movement without it. Whew. It's tempting. Keep going though. I know it's getting really hard. I feel it too. So if it feels hard to you, know that I'm right there with you. Rest. All right. We're officially done with our band. So you can say goodbye to Bandy. Yes, that's right. I did name my band Bandy. I know, I'm so creative. All right. We've got a goblet squat next. So feet are going to go wider than hip distance. We're going to grab a heavy weight for you. Again, we've talked about what that means. Set those hips back, down, tap the ground with the weight, and then lift it back up. Here we go. You're in the home stretch here. We're already to the weighted moves. There's not even that many left. Drop those hips nice and low. If you've got a really tall weight, I still encourage you, get that butt down to that knee line. So you could come here and come up every time, but I want you to challenge yourself to get low.
3, 2, 1.
Rest. All right. We're going to hold it down, isometric hold with that goblet squat. Like I've said before, if maybe holding this isn't your thing, move through it then. Here we go. So whatever you do though, make sure you're holding that weight. So what I mean is like don't set the weight there and then just rest all your weight into the weight. Hold it up, let it hover. Make sure weight's in those heels. Your chest is lifted. Core, check in with it. Is it still engaged? If not, draw that navel in towards the spine. Sink it down a little deeper. Hold it right there. Yes. This is where you show me what you're made of. I know you can do this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Whew. All right. Go ahead, shake it out a little bit. Catch your breath if you need to. That's okay if you're out of breath. I am right now. Catch your breath and then get ready because we're going to pulse. Here we go. Little pulsing movement up and down. About 1 inch. So at no point does that weight really ever touch the ground unless you just have like a crazy long weight. Just going to hover over the ground. Make sure those hips are back and down. This is that one time in life where I'm going to tell you to stick out the booty. This is no time for modesty. We got to protect those knees. You get one set of knees. Rest. Whew. All right. Last move, we've got lunges. So you can go pretty heavy. Throw weights on your shoulder or keep them in your hands. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what my knees look like. Take that long stride. Drop it down. Lift it up. You have the option to come down and in. That will engage your hamstrings a little bit more, or just go down and up. Grab your weights if you're going to use them. Here we go. So your option is to be here, just come up and down, or tap it in. Make sure when you're tapping back that you're maintaining that long stride. So this is one, when you add that movement in, people tend to get a little off balance and then maybe don't have their leg far enough back. I'm gonna stay here for the rest of them. Rest. Whew. Catch your breath. Maybe walk it out. Grab your weights again. We're gonna hold it down for that isometric hold.
Isometric.
So long stride. Hold that leg down. That back knee just kind of hovers over the the ground. Check out your front knee. You're just sitting here, right? So check it out. Is your knee stacked over your ankle? If not, adjust accordingly. Make sure there's a 90-degree angle in that front knee. It should create like an L. Ooh, I'm shaking. Keep holding. 5 more seconds. We've almost gotten there. 2, 1. Oh my gosh. Whew. There was some serious shakeage on that one. Get ready. Pulses are next. Go. Just hold it here. Little 1-inch movement up and down. If you ever want to play around with it at all, you can come up onto your front tippy toe and pulse from there too. If that doesn't feel good to you, just go ahead and stay here with that heel down. Either way is great with me. You're surely gonna feel it no matter which one you're doing. Keep those shoulders back and away from the ears.
3,
2, 1. Whew. Shake out the leg. Whew. You guys, I don't know about you, but I wasn't sure if I was gonna make it. All right, you know the drill. You were blessed to have 2 legs. So now you're blessed. I'm gonna rephrase that to do the work on the other side. You were made for such a time as this. Here we go. Remember, either up and down or up, together, up, together. I did a little of both last time, so I'm just going to do a little of both this time, just to be equal with my legs. I don't know about you guys, but this is hard work. I'm already out of breath. So if this is easy to you, you're miles ahead of me.
2, 1.
Rest. Whew. All right. You need a towel off. Then grab those weights and get ready for that isometric hold.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
Isometric.
Hold it down. All right. This is where we think back to that story we were talking about with Daniel picking up, or David, not Daniel, David picking up those 5 smooth rocks to put in his pouch before he took on the Philistine. He was intentional. Be intentional here. Know what you're doing and know why you're doing it. Sink a little lower. 3, 2, 1. Rest. Luckily, A whole kingdom is not depending on you to take down a giant based on your throwing skills. Here we go. Pulses. But a whole kingdom may not be depending on you right now, but your strength, what you get out of this workout, is all dependent on what you put into it. So right here at the end, when it starts getting tough, and you think, I really would like to quit right now, I'd really like to take a break, that's where you have to be intentional and say, nope, I want a break, but it's not time. Rest. Woo-hoo! If you made it to the end, bravo. You've done a good work. We're going to go into core next. Our very first core movement. Whew. Gotta catch my breath, it's hard to talk. It's gonna be a plank. Now I want you to take whatever variation of a plank you prefer. So that might be jumping jack legs, maybe you do the little sexy walk, maybe you do more of a mountain climber, lift the legs up. Whatever you wanna do, it's up to you. So regular plank if you want. You can come down to the elbows if that bothers your wrists. Maybe you want to jack the feet. Maybe you want to lift. Maybe you want to cross the knees. Maybe you're just a fan of regular old plank. What I don't want though is your hips up too high or down too low. Try and find the middle ground where your spine is neutral and hang out there for me. Rest. All right. Pick a side, any side, we're gonna side plank it. I've decided I wanna work on these. They're tough, but the only way we get better at it is if we keep doing it intentionally. We're coming back to that intentionality again. Maybe you want to try lifting that leg up. Maybe you worked your leg a little too hard today. Lifting it up is just not an option. Listen to your body. I know you can hear me breathing heavy. Whew. A lot of balance. All right, I'm coming back down. All right, go ahead. Got a few seconds here. Switch to the other side. Remember, you can be down on that elbow. You don't have to be up on the wrist. But I encourage you, if you're that person that always comes down to your elbow because it bothers your wrist, each time challenge yourself to work on your wrist for just a little bit until it gets uncomfortable, and then come down to your elbow. So that's the thing with the wrist. They can withstand a lot, but it takes time. You have to build up that strength. Just like anything else in life, right? And rest. All right, come onto your back. We're gonna do a reverse crunch. We're gonna crunch those knees in, lifting up those hips. Here we go. Crunch it up. Try not to work on momentum here. Try and use those lower abdominals to just fully lift you up. Keep it going for me here. We're almost to that finish line. This is that time to power through no matter what you're feeling. Our feelings are liars. Trust your instincts. Rest. Whew. All right. Take your legs either straight up or lower them down. Lift your shoulders off the mat and just pump your arms. So if you want to make it a little easier, take your legs all the way up. If you want to make it more challenging, take them down a little lower. The lower you drop them, the more your core has to work. Do me a favor. Keep breathing here. This is especially one of those movements where our instincts sort of tell us, oh, I better hold my breath. No, be intentional here and breathe through it. And rest. Bicycle crunches are up next. So it's going to be opposite elbow, opposite knee. Here we go. This is our last move before we cool it down. So I want all out. Everything you've got for this one, okay? Whatever you've got, give me just a little bit more. Even if you're on your last leg, you're barely cutting it out. Keep going. Two, one, and go ahead and rest. All right, I want you to bring one knee up, one knee down. So that hip flexor stretch. And really just like push those hips forward. So you feel a nice deep stretch through here. Excellent, just like that. Whew. So we're talking about King David here. King David occupies a fair amount of real estate in the Old Testament. His story is told in 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, and in Chronicles. David is mentioned in other books as well and is responsible for writing roughly half of the book of Psalms. It's through David's lineage that Jesus comes to earth too. All right, straighten out your front leg. Pull back on that toe. When you think of David, what word comes to mind? Brave, adulterer, poet, man after God's own heart, murderer. David really runs the full spectrum there. Go ahead, switch those legs out. I want the other leg up. Other knee down. Push those hips forward. Today we're going to look at one of the most famous of all the stories in Scripture, David and Goliath. We will see from a couple of subtle but key references just how intentional David was at times. We skip past Goliath taunting the wimpy, faithless Israelites cowering. We skip forward to the part where David volunteers to take on the behemoth. He forgoes the armor because it was too big and heavy. He chooses instead what he finds most comfortable, his own skin and his own staff. So we read, lean it forward, straighten out that front leg, pull back on that toe. Then he took his staff in his hand, chose 5 smooth stones from the stream, put them in the pouch of his shepherd's bag, and with his sling in hand, approached the Philistine. That's 1 Samuel 17:40. Now look again closely at verse 40 and the phrase, chose 5 smooth stones from the stream. A few things might jump out. I want you to come up to your feet. You're going to pull back on the top of your, or the back of your foot where your shoelaces are. First is the word choose. The Message translation uses the word selected. It implies that David didn't just randomly grab or merely scoop up some rocks, but he was deliberate. We see this also by evidence of the fact that no ordinary stones would do. They needed to be smooth. Why? Better aerodynamics? I don't know, but he knew what he wanted. No rough or chunky stones for David. David was intentional. Go ahead, switch to the other leg. Same thing. What's also interesting is that David chose 5 stones, not just one. David was a young man, full of faith. He was confident in the abilities of his God to dispose of the giant. Why then did David take 5 when just one stone
would do the trick. I want you to hinge forward from the hip, reach it down towards the ground, feeling the stretch through those hamstrings, the backside of the leg. Did it show some doubt, some second guessing, or lack of belief? Not likely. If that were the case, why not choose 20 or 30 rocks? David was just being prepared. He was an experienced marksman who had killed lions and bears as he defended his father's sheep. He had a history of taking down attackers. From here, I want you to cross the one leg in front, stretch the other leg long behind, and just sink it down here in half pigeon. David understood that Goliath, at nearly 10 feet tall, might need more than one shot to take down, but it wasn't going to take more than 5. Again, David was intentional. Ever heard that popular phrase, fail to plan and plan to fail? How true that is in life, be it our spiritual life, family life, work life, and certainly our fitness life. After all, go ahead, switch those legs out. The other leg comes in front, cross it over, stretch the other leg long behind. Getting in shape doesn't just happen. We don't fall into shape, we fall out of shape. One of the dirty little secrets about fitness is that 90% of the work comes outside of the gym. The real work comes in the sacrifice, the learning, the consistency, and most often in the planning. When we wing it, we botch it. We have to give our fitness forethought if it's going to become part of our lifestyle. It takes planning, and planning is work. The better we get at planning, the easier it becomes. However, planning is only part of the equation. Go ahead, you can either lay back or just sit comfortably as we finish out here. You can succeed at planning, but still fail at execution if you're not intentional. David was an excellent marksman, having executed his skill a number of times. It was this combination of his planning, execution, and God's help that led to the giant's death. Being intentional takes time, effort, and strategy. With God's help, you too can be intentional as you seek to glorify Him with your body. He's ready to give you victory, defeating your fitness foes and taking down the giants in your life. Let's close out in prayer here. Father, thank you for David's example of a heart that chased yours. Will you please forgive us when ours doesn't? Please help us to be wiser. May our words and actions be measured. Please help us consider the consequences of our actions beforehand. And bless our steps as we go forward today. Ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. Here's what I want you to meditate on for just a few minutes while you're laying here or just sitting comfortably. Just repeat this to yourself. May I, by your help, be intentional in all areas of my life. Again, may I, by your help, be intentional in all areas of my life. One last time. May I, by your help, be intentional in all areas of my life. Just keep repeating that to yourself today throughout the day. If you want to lay here a little bit longer and continue repeating that to yourself, I applaud that and I encourage it. As for me, I will be signing off for the rest of the week, and I will see you back here next Monday for upper body. Tuesday, we have HIIT, and then every Thursday, we have lower body. I'll see you guys later.